We have talks with first daughters where we just talk about general tips, life, and everything about the first daughter, how to thrive. Then second Saturdays we have interviews with first daughters where we bring first daughters who have gone through this or are going through it, and we get to talk about how they were able to overcome their challenges. With that, we are able to thrive because we are learning. And then third Saturdays we do this call. Yes, this call will be recorded. So we post it on the third Saturdays of the month so that other people can get to hear from other first daughters, not just myself or the guest that is being called upon, other first daughters generally. But in this call, you can be very free. And then fourth Saturdays of the month, we have anonymous stories of first daughters. There are first daughters who have things they want to share but do not want to be linked to their stories, they don't want to be linked to their experiences. And this platform here, we do not judge. So there's a place where you can be yourself without anybody saying, okay, this is who this person is. You can send a mail to us via the story of first daughter at gmail.com. Yeah, we'll see your stories. We'll see your story, we will read it, and if there's a need to reach out to you, we'll be able to reach out to you via the mail. Maybe you need therapy, maybe you need encouragement or anything, we'll be able to reach out to you via the mail. So that is the monthly rundown of activities. Oh, I'm sorry, MJ.
I think it's our network.
Yeah. Can you leave and try joining back? That is the monthly rundown of activities on the group. Last month, we spoke about self-forgiveness, forgiving ourselves for allowing people hurt us, for allowing ourselves hurt ourselves, for keeping ourselves back and holding ourselves down. So establishing that we need to forgive ourselves first. We've dealt on that all through last month rather. Then this month, since we've learned to forgive ourselves, we're now moving on to forgiving other people for the wrongs done to us. And that is what this call is going to be centered on. It's going to be centered on forgiveness, forgiving other people. Don't forget that you can be very free here. You can be very free to be yourself. You can be very free to say the things you want to say. Just only the things that you're comfortable with saying. Only the things you're comfortable with saying, because the call is recorded. Only the things you're comfortable with saying. Do not go beyond what you don't want to say. So that is that, and then we'll dive into the call tonight. So that being said, we're going to be addressing a few questions, like a few thoughts. We're going to be talking about a few things. Everything centered on forgiveness, like I said. And if you have a thing or two, everybody's supposed to say something, yeah, because we all have experienced one or two things. So the first question we're having this evening is, what does forgiveness mean to you? And how do you think it can impact our lives? What do you think forgiveness is from your point of view, from your perspective? What is forgiveness and how do you think it can impact our lives? How do you think it can impact your own life personally, not the life of others now? So what is forgiveness and how do you think it can impact your life? Yeah, the floor is open.
Alright, good evening everyone.
Good evening.
Good evening, first daughters. Good evening, Igwe first daughter. How are you doing?
We're good.
Sorry, can everybody hear me?
Yes, I can hear you, Sasat.
I'm hearing you, Dover.
Okay, that means that's double progress. Well, okay, let me answer that. I think we had this call, been on this path of forgiveness for quite some time, and I believe it's a good one. So as you're saying it, as we're learning, it's sinking deep down, and then we just get to know that, okay, forgiveness is just this act of letting go. I'm not just letting go because people say you should let go, or not just letting go because you feel you just have to let go, but letting go because it's for your own good and for your own mental state, for your own grace, for your own movements and all that. So I'm really happy that we're still touching forgiveness again. So I just think forgiveness is that act of letting go of that hurt, that thing that have caused you pain, that has given you a scar and all that. Letting go is actually a way of showing that, okay, you're actually stronger than this thing and all that. That's what I can say about forgiveness, because it actually comes with a lot of things. At that moment, you're thinking, you have to think about one issue over and over again, and most times it feels like you're dwelling too much on it. Actually, to some people, you're dwelling too much on it, but to you, it's actually a process. You're trying to heal, you're trying to get strong, you're trying to let go of this thing where there's like, okay, this is how I feel. First, you have to admit that, okay, this is how you feel. Yes, I feel. By the time you don't know how to admit anything to yourself, you're not being truthful to yourself. I feel to an extent you won't even know if you have to forgive a situation or not. There are situations and there are times where it's like you actually hurt someone and someone hurts you too. But then it now looks very heavy because you feel only that person needs to apologize to you. Meanwhile, it's supposed to be a two-way thing. So by the time you keep lying to yourself that this person is the person that offended me, this person must apologize, like if there's anybody that's supposed to forgive, it's just me. Most times there's actually a two-way thing. You have to seek for forgiveness while that person asks for forgiveness. So I feel when you understand where you're standing, where you get to know that, okay, this is what happened, this is it, I was not completely right, you were not completely right, let's let this thing go. Or you've looked at it and you tell yourself, I'm really hurt by this thing, even though I was not expecting it from this particular person or at this particular time, but still you have to let go. I think the last episode of forgiveness that was posted on our YouTube channel, Mercy stated something that you letting go doesn't mean you should create room for that same thing. Yes, you letting go doesn't mean you should be fooled and be like, okay, I've forgiven this thing now. It doesn't mean that you letting go means every wrong thing is right. No, every wrong thing is not right. You're just letting go for your own peace. You're letting go for your own good. So by the time you get to realize that, I feel you're actually taking a very bold step, because it gets to do a lot, or you get to create that boundary. You get to know that, okay, at this point I've been hurt and I won't want this to repeat itself, either by that same person or another person. And then I'm sure we've all heard of deja vu. By the time it's another person or another different scenario, you recall that, oh, it was at this point this thing almost happened or happened the last time. You get to draw back and create a boundary and know that, okay, this thing is not happening to me again, because I am not ready to be hurt again. Not because your bowl of forgiveness has finished, but still you are preventing that hurtness, that feeling that's going to cause you pain in advance. So I think with this, I've said a lot, I've covered a lot. So I'm handing over the mic back to Mercy. Thank you so much for the privilege.
Thank you, Success. So, Success rightly said that forgiveness comes with a lot of thoughts. She said it is a process of healing, letting go, knowing how you feel. And then she said that it's a two-way thing, seeking forgiveness and asking for forgiveness. Seeking forgiveness and asking for forgiveness. Does anybody really can anybody shed more light on seeking for forgiveness and asking for forgiveness?
Okay, I think I'm going to use a very general scenario or a very general example now. I'm sure so many people have not realized that this is actually something, but then it's actually something. Okay, generally, we are all children right before our parents, and it's true, they get to hurt you, you get to feel bad, you get to know that, okay, this thing is not supposed to happen. I'm not supposed to feel this way. Let me say, for instance, as a first daughter, you feel you're carrying so much, and then your parents will come and drop one heavy load on your head. They've said something very hurtful to you, and you've taken it one-sided. I'm feeling very pained by this whole thing. I'm not supposed to feel this way. They're not supposed to tell me this kind of thing. I don't deserve this kind of thing and all that. Maybe at that point, so many things start running through your mind and all that. there've actually been times in my life I've sat down and looked at my own life and I'm like, am I really being a good daughter to these people? And at that moment, it's going to be as funny as you just randomly recall times where you were supposed to do something, you didn't do it. You were supposed to say something, you didn't say it. Like, at some point, you should know that, okay, despite the fact you have your own feelings, people too have their own feelings. Maybe at some point in time, you're expecting someone to tell you, I love you, to feel all right. That same scenario is applicable to someone else. Maybe your parents too were expecting you to give them this gratitude speech at some point, and maybe you've not been doing it, or you've not been showing how much you really appreciate and love and all that, and it has been causing some division and misunderstanding. So I think one time I had to settle with my dad, and I went to meet him and told him I'm sorry for everything I've done. At that point, actually, I didn't really know what I had done, because I felt, okay, this misunderstanding is coming from two ways. Like, I feel there's something I'm doing to this man that he's not okay with, and he feels the best way to express it is by beating me. And I'm here being angry that he's always beating me. So I had to tell him I'm sorry for being a bad daughter and everything. And I will tell you that I don't think I ever enjoyed that, because at that point you said something and they'll be like, wow, this girl actually apologized. Like, it could be that they've been waiting for you to say that and you've not said it. I'm sure there are actually times the parents have said you have pride, you can't say sorry. And then probably in those scenarios you'll be like, how am I going to say sorry? Why am I supposed to say sorry? But then by the time you realize that you have to say sorry, or you just have to say sorry, either it's from your heart or you just look at it and logically you just have to say sorry. Most times it's actually God direction, because there are times you could be sitting and then you don't know where it's moving you to go and say sorry, but that's what you've said can actually go a long way. And then you see your parents treating you like the queen for that week because you said sorry for everything you've done so bad. And for that mood to change, that means yes, you've actually been doing something that has not been alright with them, and they've actually been taking it out on you the wrong way. And there's nothing more I acknowledge other than good communication. I like it when you piss me off, I let you know that, okay, you did this, I'm not happy with it. And I feel you should also let me know. So if at some point I tell you I'm not happy, this is what you did and that what you did, and I'm angry and I don't want to be angry for so long and all that, and you be like, oh, I'm sorry, I didn't mean it that way. Okay, this is actually what you did, that I had to say this, I had to say that. I'm like, oh, really? Okay, sorry. So most things we take to heart can actually be sorted out with good communication. Then those things that you just see coming out of the blue, like for no good reason, those ones are the ones you literally see yourself processing, because you feel you don't talk to this person anymore. True. I've been in a situation where I told myself, I'm never talking to this person again, no matter what, and I won't talk to you again. But I know that me not talking to you doesn't mean, okay, I hate you, I've condemned you, I've judged you or anything. No, I'm doing it for my own peace. I'm not talking to you again. I am forgiving you day or day, my day, my day. That's literally me creating boundaries. So yes, there are scenarios where you just have to apologize, you seek for forgiveness. That person forgives you, you have your peace, and then you forgive this person in return and still have your peace. So forgiveness works in both ways, and whichever way is for your own good. That's all I have to say.
Sorry to interrupt. You said forgiveness works in various ways, and that is just for your own good. I'm just forgiving people just for our own good or for the good.
MJ, can you speak louder?
Okay, she said forgiveness is just for our own good. So I'm asking, is it just for our own good, like ourselves, or for for us and for others, the people that we are actually not in good terms with?
Okay, let me answer that. I said forgiveness is for our own good, your own good, because yes, let me tell you, no matter how close you are to someone, you can't tell the heart of that person. There are actually cases where people are supposed to apologize to you, and then they didn't apologize to you, but yet you forgive them because you were the one feeling that pain, you were the one going through that pain, and those people might even go back to say so many things about you and all that. That's their own heart. That's whatever they're doing. You are not them, they are not you. But you know that, okay, you're not happy with this thing and you can't carry it in your heart for so long. So whether you forgive that person, only very few cases that you get to see people that come to seek for forgiveness and tell you, yeah, they know they did something wrong, blah blah blah. Which most of those apologies and crocodile tears might not even add up to whatever it cost you, or might not even remove it. But still, forgiveness is for your own good. No matter how you want to look at it, you are not in the heart of that person. So you don't know if that person, you might be here feeling pain, you might be here macheting, feeling lean, being all stressed. Meanwhile, that person is in 1 year eating, drinking, having fun. While you are going through a lot, you feel that person owes you an apology. And yes, I need to say something. Nobody owes you anything in this world. Like, down to apology. I got to learn that because not everybody that hurts you know that yes, they actually hurt you and will apologize. Many people will hurt you. They will know and they will still not apologize because they feel they owe you nothing. And then this is where you take it. Okay, you don't owe me anything, but I owe myself letting you go. I owe myself that forgiveness because by the time I let you go and get my mind off it, I know that I'm going to feel alright. I've been in a situation where I was thinking, I was angry, I bred grudge, I was literally macheting. I was getting dark, I was getting lean because I carried people in mind. I was so angry, I was so pained. But the moment I learned to let go, the moment I started praying on it, the moment I started eating and saying, God, this food that I'm eating will come out because I am letting go of this person. As I'm taking this apple is pressing that thing out of my mind and all. By the time you start giving yourself those those talk, those things, telling yourself like, okay, this is it, this is for my own good, you get to see yourself come back to life. So my dear MJ, forgiveness is for you. You don't know about the other person. You can never predict what's going on in that person's heart. You might even be here thinking and killing yourself over something while that person is there calculating money on what to use to do something, maybe have house rent to settle, have this to do. People forget things. There are some people that might be genuine not know they hurt you. Yes, those ones who are there. There are most people that will hurt you and you just have to talk to them and tell them, you know, you actually did this to me. And genuinely they will apologize because it was not intentional. But then it happened. But you felt hurt and you had to communicate because maybe the attitude towards you might not change. But you know that they actually do something bad to you. You get it? So forgiveness is just for your own good. You don't know about this other person. You don't know about the next person. There are actually times people come and beg and you tell them, okay, I'm forgiving you, and they'll come back and do worse. No matter the boundaries, there's some people from afar, they'll want to throw arrows at you. No matter the boundaries, they just want to get back at you. They just feel like, oh, so because I feel sorry now, this one is feeling like a queen or what. So either way, it's for your own good.
Thank you very much, Success, for that. But I think forgiveness benefits everybody, but it benefits you more. Forgiveness actually benefits everybody, but it benefits you more because at the end of the day, the person might not even know that he or she has offended you, just like you rightly said. But then there are cases, there are scenarios where the person knows that, okay, I have offended this person, and that person is willing to reconcile. Yeah, so that place, forgiveness is benefiting everybody, whether or not the person wants to reconcile actually, because forgiveness breeds a peaceful environment. It breeds an environment where everybody can coexist and live happily. So it actually benefits everybody. Just like Emmanuel said on the group, forgiveness and letting go is 80% about you being free and healing over things. Yeah. So it's more for you, but then it benefits everybody. So thank you so much for that, Success. Thank you so much. Does anybody have anything to say about that?
I have something to say.
Okay, MJ.
You know, there's this concept that there's forgiveness.
MJ, can you please speak louder?
You know, there's this concept that there's forgiveness.
Yeah.
And it's forgive and forget stuff. Are you hearing me?
Yes, we can hear you.
Okay, then, according to the Bible, 18 verse 12 also said that, I will forgive their wickedness and will remember against this no more. So, just said, that the forgiveness is just for our own benefits, and you said is for both. Maybe let's say I'm having issue with somebody, it's for our both benefit, but more for me than that person. Okay. My question goes like this. That word that said forgive and forget. There are some people that when they have issue with somebody, they'll forgive you, but they'll still remember that thing one day and say, that is how this person did this. That is how this person did that. Does that show that you are forgiving that person genuinely, or you are forgiving that person totally?
To get your question correctly, you're asking forgiveness and forgiving and forgetting, and then let's say you offend somebody later on, the person says he or she has forgiven you and has let go of everything, and then during the course of other interactions the person offends you, and then you're bringing up the old issue that is supposed to be gone and buried. Is that what you're trying to say?
Yes.
Okay, so the question is thrown to the house. What do you guys think about what she just asked? What happens, or how do you process forgiveness, forgiving and forgetting? And how do you handle where previous issues are being brought back at every slightest mistake?
Good evening, everyone.
Hi, Emmanuel.
When we are talking about forgiving and forgetting, I'll just paint a scenario from the Bible. If we all observe the life of King David in the Bible, any sin that David commits, he never does it twice. He never commits it twice. And if somebody tell you that he has forgiven you and he has forgotten, the only way that will bring back that thing is if you did or do something similar to that particular thing. Because I can forget what you do, but if you do anything similar, this is something that is ready into our subconscious mind. So if you do something similar to what you have done before and you are apologizing for it, or you've apologized for it, that thing will come from my subconscious mind into my conscious mind, and then I will have to say it out. That was how you did the other day. It is just our mind playing trick with us. It's not something that we intentionally want to do. So many people might want to abhor it, but if you are still abhorring something, that means you haven't forgiven the person. Because forgiveness, I think we've talked about this thing. Forgiveness starts from you yourself. I would like to let us know something, but now is not the time because I have a limited time. Probably during the course of the call, I'm going to share it. Something that happened. I think there was a time I said I want to say something related to that, and then this one also happened of recent. Something that happened like the day before yesterday or yesterday concerning forgiveness itself. So when you're talking about forgiving and forgetting, if you did not forgive yourself and if you do not forgive that person, then you cannot forget. Forgiveness first starts with you yourself as a person. So if you forgive yourself and you do not forgive that person, you cannot forget that issue. There is a saying in my language that says, if we did not forget the issue of yesterday, we will not see anybody to make friends with. If you did not forget the issue of yesterday, you will not be able to make friends. And then another thing say, if you close your eyes for someone bad to pass in front of you, you don't know when the good one will pass. And these are some of the reasons why we need to completely forgive. Because, sorry, I'll just round it up with this. Bible says something that do not pick offense until your brother offend you 70 times, 7 times. Do you know how many times that is? That's 490 times in a day before you pick offense. And none of us has ever offended ourselves 490 times in a day that will pick offense that, okay, we will not forgive this person. And Bible said, do not let the sun goes down with your anger. So if you're talking about a place of forgiving and forgetting, if you do not forgive yourself and if you do not forgive that person, you cannot forget it.
Thank you so much, Emmanuel. He spoke about forgiving yourself, forgiving the person, or there will be no forgetting. And not to rule out the fact that these things is like something. Okay, just like, okay, take for instance, this evening I went to the farm with my family, and my mom handed a hoe to me, and the first thing that came to my mind was, I remember a few years ago in the farm like this, and I got a cut from a hoe, and the lady handed it over to me. I remembered, but I didn't feel the pain again. So now that is what happens with forgetting. Somebody can do something to you, and then you realize that, this person did this thing, and then, okay, I let go. I forgive myself for allowing this person to do this to me. I forgive this person for doing it to me. But then the thing can still be in your memory. When the person does something similar to it, it might just trigger that remembrance. You're like, oh, something like this has happened to me before. You've done something like this to me before, or somebody had done something like this to me before. But then the place of healing comes when you remember these things, you do not feel the pain of that experience. Take for instance, relationship. This guy had broken my heart years ago, but at the point of saying it, you don't feel that pain again. That means you've healed from that thing. But yeah, you can't use hypo and bleach and erase the thoughts from your mind. It is still there. But how do you feel when this thought comes back to your mind? Have you forgotten? Have you forgiven? Have you totally healed from that experience? Before I move on to the next question, does anybody else have anything to say about this forgiveness and forgetting? So it's actually the last question in my list here, but then since it's here, let's tackle it. Does anybody else have anything to say about forgiveness and forgetting? Hi, Tomiwa.
Good evening.
Good evening, Tomiwa.
Yeah, thank you. So this is actually like the first time I'm joining this call, right? So I would like to introduce myself first. Good evening, everyone.
Good evening, Tomiwa.
Yeah, my name is Tomiwa, just like Mercy is calling me. So I think the first thing I want to talk about, sorry that I would like take us back, was the first question you throw, which is about seeking and asking for forgiveness. Right. Can I still talk about that, Mercy?
Yes, please. Within 1 minute.
Okay. So for me, I think asking for forgiveness and seeking for forgiveness they're actually like two different things, right? Asking or seeking is more deeper than asking. You can ask people for forgiveness when it has to do with other parties. Maybe you have done something wrong and you actually know you've done something wrong. You can ask for forgiveness. They can forgive you, right? But when it comes to seeking, I think seeking is like a personal deal. That's me asking or trying to forgive myself for things that I've done, things I've allowed people to do to me in the past. And yes, things like that. So and seeking for forgiveness takes longer time compared to asking for forgiveness. If you're asking, I can offend you now and I've realized it, I can ask for your forgiveness. But when it comes to seeking is not something that you can just get within, okay, yes, let's talk about it. I've forgiven you, right? But seeking, when it comes to seeking, it's like something personal to yourself. You have to seek for your own forgiveness. Like, it's deeper. I don't know if I'm actually like getting my message across well, but I want everyone to know that seeking for forgiveness is deeper than asking for forgiveness. Seeking is what you do for yourself to relieve yourself of the pain, to make yourself to be a better person. It comes with improvement. Seeking comes with improvement, which is something you do for yourself. So that's number one. That's my take on the first question. So now coming to the second question, I think you all have said the most of it, which is actually very correct. For forgiving and forgetting, right? I really don't think people can forget. Like, anything being done to us, we actually be like that in our subconscious mind. you've done something to me in the past. I can actually forgive you, which is me relieving myself of the stress of thinking about, okay, this person has done something wrong to me and all of that. Like, I can actually like forgive you, but will I allow you to do it to me the second time?
No.
In short, if something like that is about to occur, I would definitely remember, just like what Mercy said about the cutlass, right? So you would definitely remember, and I don't think we should take forgetting as something good. I think forgiving is good, but forgetting, I really don't support forgetting. I support forgiving. I don't think I want to do that. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Tomiwa. You really explained seeking and asking a new level, and we've all come to understand that seeking forgiveness is all about improving yourself more. It's something you do for yourself. Thank you so much for that. Moving on to the next question. The next question is, how can we practice forgiveness in a way that prioritizes our own well-being and boundaries? How can we practice forgiveness in a way that prioritizes our own well-being and boundaries? How can you let go? How can you forgive, but in a way that puts you first, in a way that puts yourself, your well-being, your boundaries, in a way that you prioritize your well-being and your boundaries? Do not forget that you have just 1 minute, please, so that we can wrap this up. So the floor is open. Who is going first? How can we prioritize?
Sorry, I didn't hear your question.
How can we practice forgiveness in a way that prioritizes our well-being and boundaries? How can we practice forgiveness? We'll be talking about forgiveness. So how can we practice it in a way that our well-being and boundaries comes first? Do we all get the question now?
How can we practice forgiveness?
Yes, in a way that puts your well-being and boundaries first.
Okay.
In just one word to summarize it, I would say is forgiving ourselves first, telling ourselves the truth first. Everything that we have to do it from ourselves first, which is putting ourselves in ourselves' shoes and learning from it. Then before we practice it in others. That's what I just understand in one word.
Okay, MJ, thank you so much for that. Putting yourself first. Okay, Manuel, over to you.
Okay. So I would just like talk about a particular thing when it comes to this particular question. So it goes thus. Day before yesterday, a lady friend of mine reached out, and she was like, I just asked about how she's doing, and she said she's not feeling fine. I was like, what exactly is going on? She said someone owed her. Okay, I sympathize with her, and I was like, okay, how close are you to this person? Because you need to understand the depth of the closeness of the person that actually caused the hurt or the pain. She was like, it is my elder sister, and she did that. I was like, okay, sorry about it. So what have you done about it? Have you guys said to it? She said, no. That the other sister wanted to seek for forgiveness, but she's not ready to forgive her. And then I asked her some series of questions, and I got to realize that she's not feeling alright. The other sister is living well. She's looking lean. I'm not seeing her, but I know what she's going through, because everybody if you decide not to forgive, if you decide not to let go, everybody comes down to the same place. You start looking lean, you start looking pale, you start looking unkempt and the likes. You start losing your sanity. That is how it is when you don't want to forgive. So I engaged her and asked her some series of questions. I realized that she didn't forgive her sister, and she's not ready to forgive. And this thing is heavy on her, and the thing is eating her up. She's need to reopen it. You can't listen to her sister want to say. Let her pour out her mind when she's done, and then you also tell her your mind, but respectfully. Don't be rude, and don't. When you want to practice forgiveness, you don't get angry, because once you start getting angry, then you won't get what you want. You won't heal. Because in your mind, you'll be speaking with an assumed mind that, okay, this is what you want and this is how it's going to be. So I told her, don't be angry about it, but just pour out your mind respectfully and state what you want and what you don't want. So I let it go, and that was just what I said. I think this morning she reached out that, okay, she tried to exercise what I told her, and before we ended the conversation, she already told me that she's already feeling fine. I said, that's good. It is well. But try and reach out to your sister. You guys need to speak heart to heart, not just surface. Because what you are going through, your sister did not know it. And these are stages. You are thinking a lot of things. Before you know it, it leads to depression. Before you know it, you start thinking about the things you're not supposed to think about. This thing happened a few weeks back, and I said I want to share it. It happens a few weeks back. The same pattern of thing. Having issue with your other ones and not understanding them. So this morning she did out, and she was like, okay, she already had a discussion with my other sister, and the two of them are cool. I said, okay, how are you feeling now? How did you feel when you did what you're supposed to do? She was like, she feel okay and she feel alright. To me, as a person, see, if you offend me, Tomoa said she prefer forgiveness to forgetting. See, to me as a person, if you offend me, no matter how or what you do, I try as much as possible, because of my own mental health, to let it go. I don't hold it. I let it go because of my own mental health. The way we do things are different. Your own perspective is different. But I try as much as possible to let it go, no matter what it is that you do. Like, I just release it, because I need to be free with myself. If I can't let it go, I will not have an easy conversation with you. And the more I keep this thing in myself, the more they become burden and weight. So if you want to practice forgiveness, you need to be able to practice how to speak up and how to let your heart be felt and known by others. Thank you.
Thank you, Emmanuel. So Emmanuel said that for you to be able to practice forgiveness in a way your well-being and boundaries are prioritized, you have to be able to speak up and ensure that your heart, or you communicate properly, heart to heart. Okay, that is beautiful. Thank you so much, Emmanuel. So this is what I have to say about practicing forgiveness in the way your well-being and boundaries is prioritized. While we are recording the interviews with the first daughters, it will be dropping on Saturday. That's part of the clip I sent earlier, asking you guys to guess who the guest is. While we're recording, the guest made mention, and she said in capital letters, you do not, forgiveness is not foolishness here. So you forgive, this person has hurt you, you forgive, you let go. But for you to be fine, for you to prioritize yourself, you have to create an environment where this person cannot do what he or she did to you again. That is, I understand that you were very close to me, and that was why you were able to hurt me this deep. I won't give you that room again. I won't give you that access again for you to be able to do what you did to me. And while recording the first video for the month, that's Talk with First Daughters, when I was addressing forgiveness, if you watched it, I made mention of a place where, imagine if you caught somebody trying to poison your food. and then you let go, you forgive the person, will you grant the person access to your kitchen again the next time? Definitely no. If you can do this the first time, I've forgiven you, but you can still do it the second time and maybe the third. Yeah. So now, while prioritizing your wellness, your well being, and then your boundaries, set boundaries. Set boundaries. I love you, I have forgiven you, but you do not have as much access as you used to have before. Limit it. In as much as everybody deserves a second chance, but yes, set boundaries. Do not grant that much access, because the wound is always deeper, or the wound hurts more when you find out who holds the knife. And the people who actually holds the knife are people who are very close. So you limit the access. You cannot do this to me again. You spoke to me this way the last time, and it pained me deeply. I've forgiven you, but you do not have the right to do this again. Spell it out, make it bold. Let them know their limits, let them know their boundaries, not because of anything, but because of my wellness, because of my well-being, because of my mental health, because of who I want to be, because of who I am right now. You do not have the access to this, so you cannot do this to me again. So set boundaries while you're forgiving, because there are people who will do something over and over and over again and expect you to keep forgiving and forgiving and forgiving. It doesn't work that way. We are humans, we all have emotions, and we have a limit. So yes, do set limits, set boundaries for you to be able to prioritize your well-being. So that is that for that question. Moving on to the next question. The next question is, what role do you think forgiveness plays in building and maintaining healthy relationships? We've established that forgiveness helps you more than the person. Now, what role do you think it plays in building and maintaining healthy relationships?
Okay, I think I wanted to answer that question.
Okay.
Then it depends. I want to get, it's a relationship. I mean, it's not just you, two persons, you, one person. But I would say it goes a long way, because it's a relationship. Whatever it is, communication too has to come in place. So that point where you know your heart, and you can tell yourself, that okay, I'm actually hurt by this thing, and you feel it's very necessary, or it's necessary to talk about it. I feel at that point you're doing a lot, because it's something you want to build. You want it to be healthy. You don't want it to be toxic. I feel it's very toxic when I'm doing something with you and you can't express yourself. But I'm saying that, oh, you're not happy. You are angry. What's going on? I'm asking you what's going on. You don't want to tell me on your own. You don't want to start up a conversation. So at that point, it can be very, very toxic. No matter the kind of relationship, be it your mother, your father, whatever it is, you can tell this person is angry. Probably not at you, but then what's going on? So good communication, like I would always say, helps in that. Then forgiving in a healthy relationship goes so far, like really far, because at that point you get to know who you're dealing with, and then if this person is someone that values an argument more than a peaceful conversation, there are actually people like that will tell you, oh, this person is boring, this person is this, why is he not arguing, why is he not this? So because someone is in a relationship with you, that person should be running helter skelter. Like, I don't understand. So I learned from someone important that once you value an issue over yourselves, for instance, as a couple, or to value an issue over two of you people, I don't think it can work, because why would you want to press on that issue when that person is ready to learn, when that person is asking for forgiveness, and that person is ready to learn, that person is ready to adjust, and I believe you should know that, and then you still pressing on it. I feel that's where forgiveness comes. Please, you just have to know that, okay, you just have to communicate, this is how I feel and all that. And then for your own good too, if you notice, oh, you're in a relationship with someone that, okay, you have actually said one thing like so many times, I feel at that point you should actually start asking some questions, because what you can't tolerate from other persons, is it now your partner that you want to tolerate more than that? Like, you know that this thing is actually causing you pain. This thing is actually not sinking right with you. Then you are just keeping quiet because he's your partner and all that. Yes, I'm sure this particular thing will be looked from so many angles. Yes, you want to be patient with that person and all that, but when that person is not willing to learn, what will you do exactly? And that's why I said earlier that it's a two-way thing. You are not that person. That person is not you. So for what is what is for your own self, like 80% now, as we've all been clarified, we know that, okay, yes, whichever way this forgiveness is coming, I have to benefit more because, yes, it's me. I'm the one doing this whole thing. I'm the one not getting this whole thing right out. I'm the one in, like Mercy said earlier, I don't think you will see someone trying to poison you and you allow that person into your kitchen. Even without that person entering your kitchen, I don't think you and that person will go to an eatery and then you allow that person to go and pick a food for you, self, or bring it to the table without looking at that food or allowing that person to dip the spoon first. So that's just how it is. It's the same thing, but it all depends on how you see yourself, how you value your own peace, and what you feel forgiveness is to you.
Thank you so much, Success, for that. It's about valuing yourself, your peace, and what you see forgiveness as. So, any other answer for that question? What do you guys think? How do you see
Okay.
forgiveness?
For me, I think I just thought about something. So I had this fallout with a friend last year, and so I think I'll actually be talking based on what happened afterwards. I think after forgiveness in a relationship, like after the whole fallout and all of that, after the forgiveness, I think forgiveness actually it's births a mature relationship afterwards.
True.
Because just like how they used to say, after a fallout or after a fight comes the real relationship, then you will really understand, okay, this person, am I going to have the same relationship I used to have with this person, even when I'm not like forgetting what he has done? Or am I just going to like, is there going to be like a very obvious boundaries between us, right? So I think after forgiving in a relationship, it comes with you now understanding each other better.
True.
Because now you know now you understand how the whole thing is going to play out. It's either you're creating a boundary, it's either you both are like not really close like you used to be, or you become closer. I don't know if that answered the questions. Just like what Mercy asked, that okay, the healthy relationship. Oh, is that not what you asked, Mercy?
Yes.
Because it once happened to me, so I think it eventually makes the, I don't know, should I say it makes the bond closer, or it's made us to feel like we kind of drifted apart a little. But at least after forgiving, now I know what I can do with you after the fallout. I know how to act around you, and I know how to save myself or to safeguard my mental health. So that's it for me.
Thank you so much, Tomira. You said that forgiveness birth a healthy, a mature relationship, and I can't agree less to that, because after a fallout, actually, you get to understand the person more. I was listening to a podcast yesterday, yes, and the woman was saying, she was talking about a romantic relationship though, while you're heading to the altar. She said that she would not advise you to get married to somebody you've not quarreled with, because when you quarrel with the person, you get to understand how the person processes anger, how the person but after you guys have been able to conquer that quarrel, that fight, then you're able to know, okay, after quarreling, can we still move forward? So yes, forgiveness actually births a mature relationship, you understand this person better after a fight, after a fallout, after a quarrel. Yeah, so you get to understand the person better. Thank you so much, Tamira, for that. Any other response on this question before we move to the last? Any other question? Any other answer to this question before we move to the last question for the ninth? Okay. MJ, your hand is raised.
Don't mind me. Let's move to the next question.
Okay, so the last question is, can forgiveness be a process rather than a one-time event? And how do you think that process unfolds? I think we've actually answered this question during the course of this call. Can forgiveness be a process? Is it a process or a one-time thing? And how do you think this process unfolds? Forgiveness is actually a process. It's not a one-time thing. What do you guys think? I think forgiveness is actually a process, because it's a process of you forgiving yourself, you forgiving the person, and the whole thing. So it's actually a process and not a one-time thing. What do you guys think?
Yes, it's definitely a process. I think you've Success and MG has answered that, and the man in the building, I think they already answered that, where they talked about communication, forgiving yourself, forgiving the person, and other things like that. So I think they've answered that.
Thank you so much, Tomiwa, for that. Okay, guys, so that's all the question from my end. Does anybody have anything to say? Maybe you have something bothering you want to share, or you have any suggestion, you have any contribution, anything at all.
Okay. So you just want to round up everything. So yeah, forgiveness is a process because so can anyone hear me, please?
Yes, I can.
Yeah, I can.
All right. So forgiveness is a process because the process of forgiveness is a process of healing, and healing is not a one-time thing. Healing is a gradual process. Like the way you said the whole thing. It's not something that you did it today. It's not that you were healed completely today. It is a process. So forgiveness is a process, and it is that process. I will still go back to the forgive and forget. Now it is because forgiveness is a process. Is what will make it easy for your subconscious mind to bring it back that somebody has done this to you. That's what will bring it back to you. That okay, this thing, because it is a process. That is the reason why you yourself, you first need to heal completely first before you can forgive the person that hurt you. So if you can't find it in your heart to forgive yourself, sorry, I'll still have to go into a little bit into the Bible to say something. One thing that is there is do you know that if we can't forgive ourselves for the sins we commit, it is not easy for that sin to be forgiven of us? I don't know if you understand it. I don't know if you get what I'm saying.
Can you please expatiate a bit?
Yeah.
Okay. So this is it. I'll still use David as an example. Whenever David commits a sin, he realizes the sin that he commits, and he forgives himself for it before approaching God for forgiveness. Because if you do not forgive that sin, the guilt will come back.
Yeah.
And once the guilt come back, then you go back into it. I don't know if you understand what I'm saying.
Yeah, I understand.
So if you can't forgive yourself, the guilt will come back, and once the guilt come back, that is why the devil will minister. The devil don't need to do anything much. It is just a suggestion. He will just suggest to you, and then before the person will know it, the person will fall back into what he or she have apologized for, which you are not supposed to do. So that is how it is. So if you can't find it in your heart to forgive yourself for what had happened or what this person has done to you, it will be hard for you to forgive that person. And that is the reason why we tend not to forget what has happened to us. We tend not to forget what has happened to us. And the more we keep this thing, bottom line, I don't want to take much of our time. Bottom line is, the more we keep these things, the more we keep on getting hurt, because it is a burden that we keep on placing upon ourselves. Because I don't want to forget this thing. Because I don't want to forget this thing. Because I don't want to forget this thing. You are keeping and putting more baggage to yourself than what you should. Just it is something that we can imbibe. Because one thing is, we are trying to create an atmosphere that, okay, will be conducive for everyone. So if at all Messi offend me, or she does something that she's not supposed to do, and I tend to forgive her but not forget what she do, it will create a distance between me and Messi. Yes, it will create a very great distance between me. We might be vibing, we might be talking, but deep down within me, I am not with her. And if that thing is not in check, the distance will keep on growing and growing and growing to the extent that I will keep on having hatred for her. So that is how it is. But we are trying to change the narrative. And how can we change this narrative? We need to practice what we want to preach. We need to practice what we want to preach. Because if we can't preach how to forgive and forget, and if we ourselves cannot practice it, then how do you want to preach it to people out there? Because this is the same thing that everybody is going through. Just like one of the movies I watched of recent, the lady was traumatized by her dad when she was young, but she did not open up to anybody. She was keeping the pains in. Till she got married, and she did not allow her husband to touch her. Whenever the husband wants to touch her, she sees the image of the dad, and then she flare up, and then the marriage leads to another thing. It was until when she opened up to the husband, that was when the healing started, and that was when the forgiveness, because she could not forgive herself for what happened, and she did not forgive her dad for what happened. So until we don't think that we should be stupid, I'm not saying that we should be foolish. No, that's not what I'm saying. But I'm saying that we need to create a conducive environment for us, because we are growing up and we have kids. If your daughter or your son offend you, are you saying you are not going to forgive and forget? Are you saying you are going to hold it on? Then what are we preaching? So this is just my own take on this, and I hope the grace we need to be able to forgive and forget, they are very released upon us. Thank you, guys.
Thank you so much, Emmanuel, for that.
Can I say something?
Yes, please, success.
Okay, so yes, we've been saying forgiveness and forgetting is a process. This part of forgetting is part of that process. Okay, let's not get these things wrong. I'm sure when the talk about forgetting came up, I'm just didn't mean there are things you just can't forget. Like I said, it's a process. And I don't know if you guys remember when I say something about deja vu, because there's always something that relates to something, and then you remember that, okay, at this point, this thing almost happened to me. I won't want it to happen again. So yes, it's a process. Everything is a process. I'm sure now that we've said so much about forgiveness and forgetting, we'll still go and sit and think and ask ourselves if we've been doing it the right way. Yes, I am so certain that we're going to do that, because it's part of the process. We want to grow, we want to develop, we want to have a different mindset and approach to everything. So
Thank you so much, success, for that. And I also like to say that through the process of forgiveness, communication is very vital. There are some hurts, there are some wrongs that may be done to you that you can't just let go of like that. You don't expect somebody who has been through years of abuse to just walk through the process of forgiveness the same way a person who was just told waka will walk through it. It takes time and you process it at your own pace. But then there are times you need to speak out. There are times you need to speak up. There are times you need to confront the offender. There are times you need therapy. Everybody processes hurt in different ways. Everybody processes pains in different ways. Everybody processes forgiveness in different ways. If you need to speak to a therapist, speak to a therapist. Like the first video for the month, I listed out those things. If you need to speak to a therapist, speak to a therapist. If you need to cry out, cry out, because actually you can't, a wound cannot heal except it is being reopened. So yes, if you need to cry out, cry out. If you need to journal, journal. If you need to write out, write. If you just anything that helps you process forgiveness, go through it. You're not weird. It's just your way of healing. It's just your way of coming out of it. For myself, if you offend me and it hurts real deep, I just wait for later in the night and then I just pour out my heart to my God. I just envision I sit down with him, sitting down opposite the chair, and then I just pour it just the same way I would tell a friend, this is what this person did to me. That is how I pour it out to him. And then I find relief that way. But it might not work for you. It might not work for you. And then also the gravity of the pain also differs. What can offend me might not offend you, or maybe how long it had the pain or the process of offending you has taken, has cut deep into you. You just know what works for you and go through what works for you. You are not weird to speak to a therapist if you need to speak to a therapist. You're not weird to journal things down, carry your diary and start writing it, writing the process and everything. It's you're not wrong to. It's your own process of healing. Everybody is different. Everybody is different and everybody processes pain differently. If you need to speak to a therapist, the community has an in-house therapist. We will be able to link you up to the therapist, and do not worry, it comes at no cost. Don't worry, it comes at no cost. But just because we need you to be fine, we need you to thrive, this is already available. But if a therapist doesn't work for you, if you need to write, you need us to read it, write it out. We'll read it. Anything that works for you is very okay. But just so you are able to come out of the phase of wanting to forgive to the phase of I have forgiven, I have let go, I am healed, I'm fine, and then now I am doing things the way I ought to do it so I can thrive. So communication is also part of this process. Communication is also part of this process. If you need to speak, I think if you meet a therapist and you tell the therapist somebody offended me, they'll tell you to go and meet the person. And there are some things that will be done to you and you're like, I need answers. Like I need to go back to that person and ask, why did the person do this to me? Go back and ask. Communication, ask these things. Like you want to know, just know about it. Like I think somebody did something to me that was last year and I had carried the pain in my heart for like 2 months and I couldn't bear it anymore. I transported myself to the person's house to go and ask questions. And I sat the person down and I told the person, this is what you did to me. This is how I will heal. I have forgiven you, but that this ends our friendship. Don't this ends it. But I just needed you to know that this is what you did. I needed to know why you did what you did. So if you need to ask questions, ask. But do not take away communication in the process of forgiveness. If you need to speak to yourself, speak to yourself still. And not forget that God is the ultimate. So while in the process of forgiveness, walk with God through the process of forgiveness. It is not easy, but with God by your side, it is easier. It is not easy, but with God by your side, it is easy to walk through this process. So guys, thank you so much for coming out for tonight's session. Thank you so much. Thank you so much. We can't thank you enough for giving us about 1 hour 30 minutes of your time for tonight's session. Thank you so much. So until we see next month. Don't forget, second Thursdays of the month, we have this call, and it is being sent out by the third Saturday of the month. So yeah, until we see you next month, keep thriving, girls. Keep thriving. Bye bye. Good night, everyone.